Hi, this is Tandra Bowers.
I'm Mary Kay Lejeski.
And we are here with the Home Experts for You team with Keller Williams. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're really excited to talk to you about staging your home and getting it ready to market. We have a great property we just got done, and we want to give you some pointers and tips and basically tell you about 3 rooms that we focused on in this house, okay? So let's talk first about the basement. This was pretty big task, wouldn't you say?
It was a very big task.
What we're looking at here is a bed in the middle of the room. We have boxes everywhere, just a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things, a treadmill in the middle of the room. There really wasn't any rhyme or reason to the basement. So Mary Kay is a professional stager. She's been doing this for what, how long?
Probably about 20 years.
Okay. So luckily we're teammates, we're on the same team, and she was kind enough to help me with the property and give me her staging tips. I think it took us about 3 hours to go through this property from start to finish. It was pretty amazing. So why don't you tell us what your thought process is when you come in and you see this type of thing?
Yeah, so when I saw the basement, the first thing I thought of is what is a potential buyer going to see when they walk in? And it's just chaos, unfortunately, right now, the way it looks. There's, again, like Tandra said, no rhyme or reason for where things are placed. And when buyers walk into a home or to a room, especially when it's a very large room like this, they need to have some idea of how to lay it out, what they can do with the space. And right now, when they walk in, they just see a bunch of clutter. So you can't even appreciate the size of the room because everything is in the middle of the room. A lot of stuff was pushed up to the side of the room. You can't even walk through the room. So what we tried to do was try to figure out, okay, well, what's the best way to lay out this room? We have a game area, we have an area where there's a TV, and then the back portion of the basement where the 4 windows are was more or less like bookshelves and an art table. So we tried to say, okay, there's 3 types of activities that you can do down in this basement, and how can we best set it up to show a buyer, you know, that it looks like that. Yeah, looks like the potential that it has. So we got the clutter out. We took everything out that didn't make sense in the room. Anything that didn't belong in those 3 places was boxed up and taken out. We then focused on the shelving units. We knew we were going to keep a couple of those, so we decluttered them and we tried to make them make sense. So each shelf has something on it, but it kind of all relates to each other and it's not overwhelming and they're not stuffed. And then we focused on like the TV area, and you know, we took the chair, we put it on an angle so it made sense if someone was actually sitting and watching a TV. We took a rattan sofa that was on the other side of the room and we brought that over. You can see that to the left of the photo. And we moved a plant around and kind of tried to create like a little gathering area where someone could actually watch TV. It's a little sparse, but we worked with what we had. There's also a bar area that you can see too, and we decluttered the top of the bar and you know, left the wine bottle and some glasses and the wine fridge, but we took everything else off so that it just seemed nice and open and free. And then there's a game area where the ping pong table was. There was just tons of stuff all over it, so we just took everything off of it, cleared the space around it so that someone could actually walk around the space to see that you can actually play ping pong down there. There's plenty of room for friends to gather around the table. And then the back of the room, we focused on keeping that more of like an art area. We left the art table, we left the bookcases, but we just decluttered it. We took anything that didn't relate to like arts and books out of that space. And then, you know, turning on lights, you know, the little lamp on the bookshelf or the credenza on the side of the room. We angled a chair there to make it look like it's, you know, just not an empty space.
Reading nook kind of.
Yeah, kind of like a reading nook, yeah. But turning the lights on and then taking everything off the top of it, anything again that doesn't relate to the space or the activities that we're trying to say you can do down there, that all just went out of the room. And I think it was pretty successful. I mean, you can walk through the room now, it's bright, it's cheery. People can say, hey, you know what, I can actually put 3 different functions down here rather than it just being one big open cavernous space.
And what was nice about what we did too is that a lot of times I think homeowners feel that they need to get rid of everything before we get started and list the house. That's not so. There's a lot of unfinished space in the house that we utilized and put the boxed up items. That's really what people do in those unfinished spaces. It's for utilities and items that you're not using. So when viewers are coming in or buyers are coming in to look through the house, they can appreciate, you're using that space for what it's mainly used for, in that storage. So now we're going up to the first floor living area, which really we went upstairs and we went into the kitchen space area, and it had, as you can see, a lot of different things all over the counter to make it, I guess, usable for the homeowner. But the idea is, obviously, when a buyer's coming in, we want them to see the beauty of the kitchen and really as a canvas, a backdrop, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't we talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so the biggest downfall that sellers have when they're trying to put their house on the market is not showcasing the house's potential. And how do they not do that? It's just they don't realize that their personal items really affect the way a buyer feels when they walk in the house. The buyer, when they walk in the house, should feel like they can picture themselves there. They can picture their items there. When they walk in the kitchen, they should be able to see how much counter space there is and picture their canisters and their microwave there or their toaster oven. But if all of your stuff is all over the counter, and your personal items like your bills or what you ate for breakfast or what your dog likes to eat, they just can't see beyond those things. So we need to get rid of all of those things, and it's not an easy thing to do because you're still living in the space while you're trying to sell it. So one of the things that I like to do is to tell sellers, clear out an upper or a lower cabinet. Completely clear it out. Mm-hmm. Box up what's ever in there and use that to stash all of your items that you use on a daily basis so that it's easy for when you have a showing. You just take everything that's on the counter and it all goes in there, and you're not now searching for it later on because you don't know what cabinet you put something in. Yeah. But really, when you're on the market, your kitchen has to look like your photos looked. It absolutely 100 has to be that way all the time because it's the heart of the home. It's where people want to spend the most time. And if you've got, again, stuff all over the counter, it's just not going to show well, and people are going to feel uncomfortable. So you just got to get it all off the counters.
Yeah, and even just positioning some of the existing things that make it lay out more strategic to the eye, even in photos. You're really good at like picking things and knowing where to place them, because it's important to know where that photographer is going to take that shot for the photos, for professional photos, and you're really good at that.
Yeah, and one of the other things too is to avoid bright colors. This can go for any room that you have, so it goes for photographs, things on countertops, pillows, rugs, anything with bright, strong colors or prints. You always want to get rid of those things because in the photographs online, when people are looking, your eyes are just going to go right to those items. They're not going to look at your eye is not going to look at the cabinets or the countertops or how beautiful the space is. Your eye is just going to focus on those heavy patterns, those bright colors. So that's a really good rule of thumb no matter what room you're talking about, but especially the kitchen. And
one other room we really focused on was master bedroom. Just the simple fact of making the bed and having it the pillows laid out properly is one thing that obviously changes a room drastically. Why don't you kind of talk through what you did here?
Yeah, so this obviously was a typical bedroom that we normally go into before we stage. This is what most people's bedrooms look like. But clearly, you have to put yourself in the position of the buyer. Think about how you would feel if you walked into this room and you saw a bed unmade or just not made well, and their personal laundry items laying around, and what they like to drink before they went to bed, their medication, personal photos, things like that. A bedroom should look the way it looks in a hotel. Picture yourself walking in on a vacation and you walk into that hotel room. Picture what that looks like. That's what your bedroom needs to look like. Nothing on the bureaus except for a lamp. Nothing on the nightstands except for a lamp. Nothing laying on the floor. The bed pristinely made. Everything dusted and clean. That's the way your bedroom needs to look. The bedroom is so important. People can get very, very uncomfortable walking into your room if you have your personal items laying around. So hide the slippers, hide the dog beds. That's kind of what we did in this room. We picked up the dog beds. We made the bed so it was pristine and pulled tight. We took everything off of the bureaus and off of the nightstands. And then turn all your lights on. Always remember to turn your lights on when you have a showing if you're there before you have to leave. Otherwise, it just doesn't look as good as it can. But
natural light as well as artificial light really just brings out the beauty in any house.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The brighter, the cleaner, the better.
If you want more information, please check us out on the web at homeexpertsforyou.com or Suburb Living. I'm Tandra Bowers. I can be reached at 215-680-4652.
Mary Kay Lejeski, Keller Williams Home Experts for You team, 610-509-7620.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.